All right, welcome back, everyone. So today I wanted to kind of go over this episode 3 for day 7, Drake Day. I do want to kind of note the Warbond CC right now is the Vulture, so it's $10 off if you Warbond up that. That's a decent ship. If you're interested at all in salvage, I think it's worthwhile picking that up, maybe holding on to it for other CCU chains to get a further discount on it. That's a ship that's easy to get a discount down from what its current price is. Should be available later on. Additionally, if you want to get the starter package of the Intrepid, that makes a fair amount of sense if you're interested in LTI, considering that's the starter pack that will give you LTI currently. That being said, let's get into the Q&A. They also talk about master modes a bit. I don't feel like I have enough really to share with that, so I'm not going to make any comments on that. But feel free to take a look at that in the earlier part of the episode. But I do want to cover the Q&A that John goes over. I want to take a look at the kind of some of the screens later on as well towards the end, see if there's anything that we can kind of take out on the commercial pieces where sometimes they'll add some extra pictures. I didn't see a lot, but maybe I'll look at it again with y'all and see if I can think of anything else.
And
so here's
begin.
Here's the Q&A with John.
Who are you and what do you do?
My name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle director at CIG.
You're in a desert walking along in the sand when all of a sudden you look down and you see a tortoise. It's crawling towards you. Why did you nerf the Corsair?
It was massively outperforming all other ships in the game. It had 40% of the kills overall just by itself, so it needed bringing down a touch. The current reduction in its efficiency is not going to be the final way. We want to do a bit more with it.
Yeah, so I generally agree with this sentiment around, they have the numbers too, right? Usually anytime you have a live service like that, if they see something that's too meta, they end up taking it down a notch. That being said, I think they sold it with this kind of in mind, that I have a lot of, even though it's an exploration ship, it does have a lot of guns on it, and it did do a lot of fire. It had a lot of firepower. Maybe it needed to be super like a glass cannon. Maybe that's the real fix here. But the way I would see it, possibly putting 6 size 4s, right? So have 4 size 4s that are around the pilot area, and then the 2 on the wing still size 4. Maybe that's a better way to nerf it, or keep it in line with the way it maybe should be instead of having the size 5s. The way I have it now, I don't think is a good workaround. It's a workaround. I don't think it's a good permanent fix. So I'm glad to hear they're going to work on it. That being said, I don't know what the perfect fix is. Let me know in the comments below what you think it might be a better option. But again, I think 6 size 4s might be enough DPS to kind of still make it good. It's better than something like the Starlancer Attack or Starlancer Max, if you just pilot controlled at least. And then it should be pretty comparable to something like the Connie. Let's see what else he has to say, though. Again, that is what it is. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a better idea of how this should play out.
What's the drama with the Polaris torpedo tubes?
It's not clear that they actually rotate and feed from the bottom and skirt around the elevator shaft.
Is that what they really do?
That's what they do in the animation.
Yeah, so people, this isn't something that's a big point for me, but I don't mind a game having a bit of magic. After all, it is a video game. But for a game that prides itself on not having magic, I guess, it does make sense. But apparently the torpedoes go under the ship there, under essentially the elevator area, because the elevator goes down all the way below as well. So just some people are concerned about, is it like going through the elevator shaft?
Where is my Crusader Starliner?
It's going to be after 1.0.
Will you ever make the...
So with the Crusader Starliner and other ships, he'll make reference to 1.0 quite a bit here. And it feels like they're trying to do 1.0 in the next couple of years, which is, anything's possible, right? Whether or not they can actually do it, we'll see with 4.0. That'll be a big feat to the fire to see if they can actually deliver this stuff. At the end of the day, I don't know. It seems plausible, again, based upon some of the progress with 4.0. Maybe we'll have to see once it goes live how well it's actually doing. A lot of people will say it can't happen. I would say never say never. They've made a fair amount of progress with some of the stuff I've seen with 4.0, but it hasn't been released set enough to live to really stress test it. That being said, if you haven't seen a ship this year, or even them reference them working on it, gosh, next year with CitizenCon, I'll be surprised to see how many ships are on the kind of 12-month listing for things they're going to work on, because I feel like if they haven't shown they're going to work on it, I feel like they're pushing it off to 1.0 at this point. But that may not always be true. So stuff like the Galaxy, obviously he'll talk about some of the ships they're working on, but I feel like if they're not working on it now, or they haven't talked about it in a while, even like the Bandit Merchantman, probably it's probably not coming out planned until 1.0. But that's just an assumption on my part. It's a little rough. I think when they release a ship, they should say this isn't planned until after 1.0. They should just be transparent upfront with that. This is a ship that we have, but we're not going to work on it anytime soon. They should just say that outright. I know that's not what people are going to want to hear, but I think it should be more honest.
The Rock DS good?
Yes, so we want to enclose both players, whether they're going to be side by side or line astern, still to be decided.
Tell us what one of the ships from the T.
I mean, not a big deal there, but right now the Rock DS player who is actually mining is kind of out in the open. So yeah, just a little bit of rework there.
at CitizenCon was?
It's a variant of one of the ones we teased last year.
So I'll show some B-roll footage here, but excuse me, but especially with some of the other ships, they're already working on some of the Hornets. There's some ground vehicles. I feel like they're talking about an actual ship here. They did specify ship, so I do think it's going to be a ship, not a ground vehicle. So I've skipped some of those. But pretty quickly we come upon what appears to be the Fat Fury, the Guardian. And I think it's the data leaked version of the Fat Fury or Guardian. It is the QI version, Kai or whatever you want to call that. I think that's what's going on here. And if you take a look at the screenshot, again, I'll put it around here, probably in the corner down here. If you take a look at it, it doesn't, you can't, if you go back and look at the silhouette, you can't see a weapon on the right side. It's already been data mined that doesn't have a right gun. So it just has a left one. So I think that kind of goes along with what that'll actually look like and what it'll be. I don't know. It doesn't 100% look like that could be that ship. Another one, it could be, I guess the variant, but they've already talked about the TAC. So it's possible it could be talking about the Starlancer TAC, which is a variant of the Starlancer Max, but they already kind of introduced those two. So I don't know if it's that one. I just feel like it's probably this Fury looking ship. Although it looks a little bit different than the regular Fury, it just fits for me. They also talk about the Ironclad. I don't think they're going to, I mean, they could do the Assault. I don't think it's going to be ready yet. I feel like it needs maybe more of the repair. I don't think the Assault has drones, so it could be the Assault. The Ironclad is something they're working on now. I don't think we're going to necessarily see the Pioneer, even though they're working on it now. That's going to still need drone gameplay, and I don't know. They didn't talk enough about drones, I feel like. They talked about drones in base building, but they didn't talk about it in a way to make me feel like it's going to be done soon enough to actually get some of those ships out. Additionally, yeah, I don't think the builder was even in. I feel like the variant they showed for the Starlancer was just the TAC itself and not the builder, although it could have been the builder. That's about it. I don't remember the other ships. The other ones, it's hard to tell unless there's a variant of a ship they haven't even announcement. I don't think so, though. I feel like it's probably the Guardian that he's referring to.
Ooh. What can you tell us about Endeavour modules?
All still planned, but after 1.0.
So another disappointment here. So again, a lot of the stuff is after 1.0, like the Starliner. So again, I feel like if they haven't talked about your ship recently that you're interested in the concept, it may not come out until after 1.0 because it seems like they're racing to 1.0 at this point. Again, whether or not they can actually deliver that, I feel like they maybe can. I feel like the blocker is currently server meshing, but once they get past that with 4.0, it's possible they might be able to do release enough systems and stuff like that to actually get going to get to 1.0. But yeah, it still could be hoping. It could be 3, 4, or 5 years. Who knows? But I still feel like they're making pretty good progress. But again, I'm not speaking from any experience on that at all. So again, saying the Endeavour and Starlancer, all of these ships, if it's not being shown recently, it seems like they're releasing after 1.0.
Why do you hate Drake ships?
I don't hate Drake ships.
Well, why is Drake the best manufacturer?
Drake's a great manufacturer, rugged, industrial, and nicely priced.
The rugged part is a little off-putting because the thing that concerns me about the Drake ship is the lack of armor. If he's going to say rugged, I do feel like that's something that needs to be addressed potentially. Obviously, they're allowed to have a value manufacturer. I think the idea of it needs to be absolute paperclip or no, paperweight is not ideal. But at any rate, I mean, paperweights are hefty. They could be solid metal. Anyways, they don't need to be able to be pushed over by wind. So I don't think that's necessarily the best way to go about it. But at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to what other Drake ships they come out with. But they are a good value, and I think it's good to have a good value for people to buy into if they want to.
And what's the best Drake ship?
The Cutter, obviously.
All right, so today is Drake Day. Why should everyone
I do like the Cutter.
go get a Drake ship?
Can I ask you a question, Jared?
Sure.
Do you ever feel like you're a soulless marketing puppet?
What's
A little bit wasted time there, but I do like the singing number was actually pretty good by Jared. So after this,
what's the deal with the mule?
Mule's still waiting for a little feature to allow you to remotely disconnect items from pilot seat. This is the same thing we need for the Prospector and the Mole as well to remotely detach the mining sacks.
What's the deal with that double-engine Hornet we saw in the Squadron playthrough?
That's a cool special little variant used by Squadron 42.
What's it called?
It's the F7X.
Ooh. Will that ever come to the Persistent Universe?
It might do.
What about the...
Yeah, I think it'll probably make its way. The Mule too. I don't know what's hold up on the Mule. I don't know much about the Mule. I mean, I know about it in game, and I purchased it in game with AUEC. But at the end of the day, I don't know what I don't fully understand the hold up there. Obviously, something they have to, a feature they're currently working on. Well, it feels like they're not working on it, actually, to be honest. But they want to do it at some point.
The updated Vandal ships from Squadron?
They will as well, but most likely after Squadron ships.
Can you confirm that the Mirai Guardian is coming to Alpha 4.0?
Yes.
Tell us something you're not supposed to tell us.
Ironclad's in production right now.
Why would you make my jalopy?
Yeah, so they go into like a jalopy thing, but yeah, so good a couple questions there at the end that had to be, I think, really needed to be addressed, or it's nice to see those addressed, and that's why I made this video. Yeah, so I think the Squadron assets, including stuff like the Idris, probably won't come out till after Squadron, so 2026 for those, whenever that is. It's just 2 years away. At the end of the day, the Guardian coming out 4.0 is just a confirmation of what I kind of made a video on before. That's what I understood that leak to be. And then tell us the secret, the Ironclad is coming out, or it's in production. So whether or not that actually helped with the Kraken as well, I do feel like with the Polaris, I think they're seeing that a lot of people want those ships. So I'm hoping it'll kind of push towards the Kraken. And then maybe they give us the Kraken and the Idris earlier. Again, I think that there's no harm, no foul in that. Obviously, something everybody will want. All right, Elide. I was going to look at some of the other commercial clips, and I didn't see anything in there. So when I went back to record it, it just wasn't worth the time. Anyways, thank you all for checking out the video. Let me know in your comments down below on some of these questions he answered and some of the other things, thoughts are on your mind. Anyways, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.